Okay, perfect. Well, welcome and hello. And if this is your first time joining us, very, very special welcome. We have our open a door Q&A sessions every fortnight, and you can ask us anything. And my name is Liz. I'm the email marketing manager here at Charity Digital, and I will be your host for today's session. For people that don't know about us, I just thought it would just be good for me to briefly start with a little bit of context about our mission. So we are Charity Digital, a charity that helps other charities increase their impact by being more digital. And we have two primary charitable activities: providing access to software products that charities need at dramatically reduced prices. And also we publish content, so podcasts, videos, and we run webinars and events that educate charity professionals and volunteers on how to make better use of digital tools and technologies. And we are here today, as I have mentioned, it's going to be quite informal, to answer any questions that you might have about the services we provide, give you any guidance that you need, and encourage knowledge sharing between all of us present in this chat. So before I carry on, I'm just going to pass over to Joel, and then Joel will pass over to James, just for you to introduce yourselves. Thank you, Joel.
Thank you, Liz, and good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see so many of you here. So my name's Joel. I'm the Programs Manager here at Charity Digital. I've been here for a fair few years now, not quite as long as Liz, but quite a fair few years, coming up 6 years for myself now. So been around the block a few times, have a fair bit of knowledge, which leads me to being, if there's any football fans in here today, kind of like the James Milner of Charity Digital. Essentially, I'm a great utility kind of person. So you'll see me from frontline perspective, providing consultations, account management, all the way to other sides of the parts of the business of the charity, such as strategy, training, and various other parts as well. And over to you, James.
Hi everyone, welcome. So I'm James, I'm the e-commerce manager here at Charity Digital. So as Liz mentioned, we have access for your organizations to discounted software. That's through one of our websites called the Charity Digital Exchange. So I maintain that website. If there are any new offers, I communicate that to your charities via an email that I do twice a week. So feel free to sign up to that. Really informative about what your charity can access. And then, any other product related promotions or any of these sort of things to do with our products, that's what I get involved with as well. Back to you, Liz.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, James. Okay, before we carry on, I would just like to remind you all that this webinar will be recorded, and the recording with the subtitles and slides and supporting resources will be made available to you all over the next coming days. So keep an eye out on your inbox. If you do have a question you would like to be answered today, pop it in the chat box. We have received some questions in advance. So thank you so much to all of those that have submitted those questions beforehand. And what we'll do first of all is run through those pre-submitted questions, and then we'll make our way through any questions that you might have and that you've put in the chat. Once the session ends, or if you need to pop off any earlier before we finish, you will be prompted for feedback, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on how we can continue to help your organisation. So please take a few minutes to share your comments and your input with us. We really, really do appreciate all the feedback that you give. So without further ado, we've got quite a few questions to get through. So I'm going to start with the first pre-submitted question. And it's from Young Enterprise UK. Is it possible to have a list of free software that is available? So James, I think you'll be a good one to take this one.
Yes, I can take that one. Great question. It's definitely something that if we can get it for free, then we'd love you to just take as much free stuff as you can from us. So our content editors recently created a great article about this, which I'll post in the chat now. It's called How to Get Free Tech. So that's there. We also have a webinar coming up in July, which is hosted by Joel, who is on this call. And that is how charities can access free tech. So I definitely would encourage you to join that or sign up for that. So that is in the chat as well. In order to get all of this in a really easily accessible way, I've created a link on our website, which collates all of the free resources the charities can access. So the best piece of free software that we have is called Adobe Express, and you can access up to 10 free licenses for this. So you save £99 per user. This is like Adobe's version of Canvas, so you can create great assets for your organization. And it's not live yet, but we will have a webinar coming up where someone from Adobe will be showing us how to create assets, how this can help your organization, and you'll be able to do that for free using Adobe Express. So yeah, that'll be live in the next few days. So in terms of that link, I'll post it in a second. You can also find good free discount codes for Dell and Lenovo. So not necessarily free tech, but discounted tech. You can get charity discounted rates for that. So this is a link to all of our free resources that are available. So that is me.
Great. Thank you very much, James, for answering that and for posting the link in there. That's brilliant. Let's move on to another question from the Literary Pirates. We use volunteer for Salesforce, and we know that there is a partial volunteer interface that can be embedded on a website. Is there any way to give a volunteer interface of their progress from data coming from Salesforce? Joel, could you answer this for us?
Sure. Yeah, so I'll give it a bit of a shot. So not coming from a Salesforce expertise point of view, we don't have an internal sort of Salesforce engineer, which are certainly highly valuable in sort of any tech sector, but certainly Salesforce is highly customizable and intuitive. So you should be able to do that. What I would suggest though, in terms of, I mentioned the words like Salesforce engineers and that kind of thing, there's a couple of options you may want to look at. So Salesforce, they do have a pro bono impact exchange where you can apply for help. This could help you get in touch with an engineer. On the side of that, now I'm just going to steal a bit of information from someone who regularly attends these meetings, called David Adams, so thank you in advance for that. Mentioned something which I came across again earlier today called Super Mums. And what it is it helps, women who are obviously mums get back into work, and they train them to be Salesforce certified Salesforce specialists, and then they could be placed in organizations for a certain amount of time. I don't know how exactly, but you can recruit their help to get in place, like whatever you're looking for in terms of Salesforce. So there's a couple of links on its way. So those may be a couple of starting points to help you get that set up that you need there.
Thank you, Joel, and thanks for the link there, James. That sounds like a really great organisation, doesn't it? Very good. So we've got a question from the Addison's Disease Self-Help Group. How do I renew my SODA PDF product and still get the charity digital rate, please? I can actually answer this. We actually don't provide this as one of our products, but if you are looking for PDF software, we do work with Adobe and we provide discounts to charities. James, I believe that you can post a link in there. And yeah, that's it. Joel, did you want to add anything further to that? I know that you're our guru on Adobe there.
Yeah, of course, big words, but yeah, no, of course. So just to clarify with Adobe, for Acrobat is the term for editing PDFs. So we have two offers for that. So we have Adobe Acrobat Pro and Adobe Acrobat DC. So the difference is, meaning, I'll keep it short as much as I can. One is a desktop product, which means you install it on the device that you're using. So one device, and then the license will last for a few years. I mean, if you were to purchase that today, the license will last until December 2026. And that's primarily used for if you're just looking to edit PDFs or something like that. The Acrobat DC is a cloud subscription, which we provide access to discounted rates for. So we don't provide the subscription, but essentially a discount link. And that allows you, again, to do your typical editing of PDFs. But if you're looking for the signing sort of feature that a lot of people want to use these days, that's included as well. Overall, Adobe Acrobat DC, the cloud subscription, is a far superior product. However, in the times that when you do need to weigh up cost and versus what you need. So if you're primarily just looking to edit PDFs, we'd suggest the desktop version, as it's just a one-off cost. Whilst with the Adobe Acrobat DC plan, it can be a little bit costly. I mean, even with a discount added over the course of a year, you're paying around £130 for a year, which in my eyes, it can be quite expensive, particularly for so many of the charities that we work with in the micro to small to medium range. You know, we certainly want to help the best we can in all sort of sizes of charities, but with those who have a sort of a smaller budget, you might want to look at the desktop range instead for that lower initial cost.
Brilliant. I told you were a guru, John. Thank you. That's great. And there was just a little question in the chat about whether this chat would be recorded with the links. And James has confirmed that yes. So the slides and the links and all the questions and the answers to the questions will be sent to you once we've compiled an article on it. We've got another question from the Clare Foundation. I'm interested to know if there are any free CRMs or at a very low cost solution for small charities. Again, Joel, I'm going to go over to you.
Sure. So we always post sort of articles based on this on charitydigital.org.uk, so our content site. We actually did an article in April regarding CRM systems that have been going up at the moment. We've also, within that same post as well, there's also a podcast on this topic as well. So it's really good to, you know, perhaps if you're on your way to work or something like that. I know something I like to do is listen to podcasts on my way to work. So that's something you can do as well. Yes, there's many different CRM options out there. There are free offers available out there from the range of like HubSpot, Zoho, Zapier as well. What I do tend to find with CRMs, if you're, you know, many of those do start as free. But as you continue to grow, you will be going into sort of the pricing range then as well. I guess you just got to pick the right one for you, and hopefully you've got the skills to customize it to the needs of your charity, as CRMs can get a little bit complex, at least in my opinion anyway.
Okay, thank you very much, Joel and James, for the link in there as well. Thank you. If you do have any questions, then pop them in there. I can see that a few have been submitted, so they will be we will ask our experts later on when we get down to the chat questions. Another question here, pre-submitted, Kelso Writers. How can I change the display name of apps installed on people's smartphones?
Yeah, James, I can take that one. Yeah, I can take that one. So just a sort of pretext on this, I'm no expert, so if anyone in this particular field, so if anyone present knows the answer, please chime in and let us know in the chat box. But I've done a bit of research and found a guide of how to do this on an Android phone, so I'll post that link in. But I'm not sure that you can do it for an iPhone from what I've seen. I was just wondering if the person who raised this was present, just to expand on the requirements for this. And let me know if this doesn't answer your question, essentially. But I'll pop that guide into the chat now.
Thank you, James.
That will survive fine, because we all have Android phones.
Oh, brilliant!
Fantastic.
Yeah, try out that. Try it out, and if not, just email us in to customer service at charitydigital.org.uk, and we'll see if we can help you further with that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Great, thank you, James and Peter. Thank you. So we've got a question now about Google Mail, and there's an icon that appears at the start of each message denoting the sender, i.e. your photo appears on your personal emails. And the question is, how do we get our logo to appear on emails that we send? I'll take a stab at this. We have had a look around and we found the answer through the Google Support Forum. It sounds like what you're really trying to change is your Gmail profile picture. So, yep, James has put it in there. He's put a guide that should help you. Thank you so much, James. Okay, let's move on to our next question. We'd like our website to appear as HTTPS instead of HTTP. We're aware that we need a security certificate. Our web host offers a free security certificate. Is there any reason to pay for a security certificate? And Joel, I will direct this one to you.
So in terms of the importance of security certificates, it's an absolute, in my opinion. It comes down to the word trust. Many cybersecurity softwares in place could be blockers that your system may have in place, which you may or may not be aware of. They do have settings where it will tell the user that a site without the certification could be considered untrustworthy. And in many instances, you will not be able to access their website. So you're not having that certification. You not have that certificate, it essentially is potentially reducing the traffic to your website. So it's really important that you have some sort of certification in place. As well, in terms of if there's a free version of that, I mean, in terms of free versus paid, I mean, when it comes to the world of free versus paid, you've got to see what are the other parts that come to it for being free. Are they taking sort of information from you? Is there an automatic payment which comes out later, which can easily be forgotten? So if it's paid, you know that it's there up front, whilst free, you know, there could be some other sort of ramifications you may not be aware of and might need to go through some of the T's and C's of that offer for free. So that's why I would say versus free or paid, just to be cautious. And that's with any sort of software that you haven't been guided through regards to free software. And I say that because obviously we provide free software in some cases, but we do have all that sort of the information about those offers and products on our product description as well, and the fulfillment emails that go out as well. So just make sure you read the T's and C's of any sort of free software that you're going for.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Joel. And as you can all see on this slide that we've got up, that if you do need to contact Joel, then you can email customer service. And Joel also does one-to-one consultations as well, if you're interested in that. He's a font of all knowledge. So we have a question from the Petals charity. I would like to know what is available or recommended to help with interpreting data or courses, training. We hold lots of data in Excel, but we don't have the skills yet to do something meaningful with it. But we really need to. What digital offerings are there to help us with this? Thank you.
Yes, I can take this one as well. Our partners at TechSoup have a wide range of courses that they provide. So with a lot of training available, including Excel, and it starts from Excel 101. So really starting people from the beginning of their Excel journey. So I've posted the link in there. One thing we've also started using recently is LinkedIn Learning. So again, there's just courses from anything you could ever want. And we've had a few people in-house do the Excel training on there. And it is really good. It's got the notes, it's broken down into different sections. So if you can access that for your charity, then I would look at LinkedIn Learning. And sometimes if you want to just sort of see what you can get for free, YouTube is also a great place to look for knowledge. A lot of the time, if I'm trying to do something specific in Excel, I'll just have a quick Google, see what comes up and watch a video, and then that'll be step by step. So a few different options for you there. But yeah, I do recommend the TechSoup courses one as well.
That's brilliant. Thank you, James. Yeah, I think we all sort of do revert to YouTube, don't we, for to sort out a lot of things in our lives.
Certainly do.
So we have another pre-submitted question from Working Options in Education. Where can I secure free advice about changing CRM or volunteer management? Well, I think this is a popular topic and we do have lots of content on it. So we've got previous articles and podcasts and even webinars on this topic on our website, which is charitydigital.org.uk. There are also plans for us to have more content on it this year. So keep your eyes out for that. But yeah, there are some recent articles on CRMs and volunteers that we can just put in there, the complete guide to volunteer management in the chat, and also the best CRM systems for charities. And so also just to note, really, you can purchase and explore Donor Perfect on our Charity Digital Exchange catalogue. So that's something to bear in mind.
Yeah, So that's designed, just to follow up, just designed for a charity, for smaller charities with maybe like a smaller record count as well. So it's really useful. It's really designed for sort of like sort of fundraising, tracking donors. Has a really nice feature of automating your HMRC gift aid claims, if that's something that you sometimes struggle with as well. So yeah, could be useful for some micro and small charities out there.
Brilliant. Thank you, Joel. We have another question here about CRMs. Do CRM providers bear the responsibility to train your staff on how to use their software? If not, how do you recommend training a small staff of 4 to 6 people on using CRMs? Are there guidelines for best practices?
Sure. Not sure about guidelines for best practice, but I can certainly give some sort of an overview part of advice there. So the CRM providers themselves, they don't bear the responsibility, but most major CRM providers will provide an onboarding session for sure. So this could be, they might take an hour or two out of your time, invite you to like sort of conference meetings, kind of similar to this, and run you through the platform as well. Many of them also provide demos as well. In terms of going through that process, you would need to nominate a person within your organization to be the lead for the platform. It's really important. The word accountability is, I think it's a word that sometimes gets missed in our sector. And I think the reason being, it's quite fair, is that in the charity sector, we're all multiple job roles in one. You could be both the IT person and the person who delivers coffee for the company, all in one role. So it's about being vocal and making it clear who would be accountable for that as well is important. I'd also as well, now I'm going to recommend software. We do recommend this a lot in our previous Q&As as well, but I'm going to give them a shout out again. So there's a great bit of onboarding software which we use as well, called Guru. It's not a product on the exchange, but we like to recommend products that are outside of our vicinity as well. So Guru is a way of recording like perhaps your processes, onboarding documents as well, all in one place in the form of like really kind of digestible and bite-sized cards as well. Obviously, one of the main challenges of the charity sector is obviously staff retention, people leaving all the time. So to ensure that your processes and all that are in place as well, you can have all this information on Guru. And bring it back to the CRM side of things, you can add like sort of quick links to Guru, perhaps on how to do certain things with CRMs. As obviously most CRMs come with a lot of bells and whistles, with lots of buttons everywhere, and you can easily get lost. So if you are the accountable person for that, you could create a guide within something like Guru to make it easily digestible for the rest of your colleagues.
Hey, thank you, Joel. I do have to say it's had such a positive impact in our organisation.
Certainly has.
So yes. Joel, don't go away, because I've got another one about a CRM as well.
Okay.
The question says, our staff have had a bad experience with our previous CRM and we need to rebuild trust in digital infrastructure. How might we bring them along and make sure they're included in the design and implementation of the CRM?
Yes, I understand. Yeah, feeling of a bad CRM, it's not good. But I would say if you're looking at new CRMs, firstly, I mentioned a few moments ago, you often provided demos or walkthroughs. You should bring your staff on board with that for sure, just to get them involved as well, just so that hopefully they get a feel for it as well. Something that we do internally, which helps us with any sort of changes or ideas, is that you may actually want to create some internal surveys or polls based on the discussions you've had about CRMs with the various organizations, because I'd imagine you'd be having at least several calls with different CRM providers. So on the polls, the internal polls, you can talk about, you put the questions, what they like, what they didn't like, what features they need, etc. And I think the main important point always when starting to look at a CRM, at least in my opinion, but I think this is quite shared widely, is that the main starting point is to have a visual cue for yourself and your colleagues into exactly what you're looking for from your CRM. So not just in your head, but get it out there somewhere visual where you can even tick off points. What do you need from your CRM? Does it need to have a large record count? What do you need it to integrate with? So then you can have this visual cue list in front of you when speaking to these CRM providers, and maybe tick those points off to help you really sort of direct you to which decision you want to make, and maybe remove any of the ones which you don't think won't work either.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Thanks so much, Joel. We have another one. I think, James, I'm just going to ask you this one. How to set up a high quality podcast on a low budget?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So here at Charity Digital, we have our own podcast, which is produced in-house. The team who create this have written various pieces of content about it, which I will share shortly, which the content contains links to recommended microphones, audio recording software, and what podcast hosts to consider. And we also have a case study from a guest writer on their reflections of creating a podcast. So I will place those in the chat now. And again, I know I'm pasting a lot of things in the chat at the moment, but all of these will be sent around afterwards with the answers to all the questions. So don't worry too much if you're getting caught up in trying to chase all the links. Once you're all set up with your podcast, I would also recommend listening to a few of our episodes about how we grow and scale our own podcast. And we also have episodes about how you can make your podcast accessible and sort of do's and don'ts for podcasts. So I'll paste all of those episodes in now. Again, as Joel said, download them for your way to work. They're available on your usual podcast streaming apps. So yeah, just a good thing to have a listen to in the background. So those are the podcast ones there.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for pasting all of those, James.
No problem.
Thank you. We've got a few questions from Ways for Wellbeing, which I believe you are on here with us. So that's brilliant, because I saw something in the chat just earlier. And one of the questions is, what kind of discounts or free services are available for community interest companies? I'm just going to chime in here because I am the account manager for the .digital platform, and we offer this for nonprofits. So it doesn't matter whether you're a charity or whether you're actually a company that works solely with charities, or maybe you might be an NHS trust, just a not-for-profit generally, and you can access the .digital marketing platform through us with discounted rates. And if you do have any questions on that, then my email address is actually listed on that slide that we're seeing. So it's Charity Digital Mail Support. Great, thank you, James. You just put the link in there that you can have a look at if you're interested. We do have others as well. So we've got a vast cybersecurity software, and you can access non-profit pricing for award-winning cybersecurity with that software. And also there's a lovely organisation that we actually did a Q&A with them just recently called In Kind Direct, and they're a charitable organisation who provide discounted access to goods for non-profits. So that would include kids' toys or tech or hygiene products. And if you sign up with them, let them know that you came through us, and they can fast track your application. James and Joel, do you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, just to explain, mate, it probably would be obvious to yourself as a community interest company already that the type of offers available to community interest companies compared to charities is absolute minimum, and we do understand that. Most organisations that want to provide sort of non-profit offers to UK-based organisations require an organisation in the UK to hold charitable status. Unfortunately, the non-profit terminology is a little bit Americanized, and in the UK we like to make things a little bit difficult by having both non-profits and charities, where in other territories or countries they are one and the same thing. So we do recognise the importance of non-profits in the UK sector. We certainly do our best to help where we can, if possible, as well. All I can say is watch this space in terms of more offers coming on. We are constantly trying to work with our partners to expand their offers outside of just those with charitable status, but we're expecting hopefully a few more products to come this year, which non-profit organisations such as community interest companies can take advantage of. So by all means, stay in touch with us, sign up to our newsletters so you can find out when these are released.
Brilliant, thank you. And Nabila's just confirmed that she has actually signed up with them, and she mentioned ourselves, so that's great.
Great.
And thank you for everyone that's putting the questions in the chat. We will get to these, we will. We've just got just a couple more pre-submitted ones. So the next one is, where could I access free digital marketing, social media support for my community interest companies?
Sure. So yeah, as you said, I mean, the best advice that we can give here really in terms of sort of advice or anything like that for support would to explore our content website, charitydigital.org.uk. We can find webinars, podcasts and articles on all sorts of topics in terms of social media and digital marketing as well. We'll get some links across up shortly with some of the most up to date. That's the best of how we can support those of community interest companies in terms of digital marketing and social media. We're always doing content like that. We're unsure of any organizations outside of our vicinity that provide sort of discounts or free software to community interest companies specifically. Unfortunately, it does come back to that sort of restriction level I mentioned a few moments ago, that you could face some blockages by not holding the charitable status. I'm not completely sure of that. I'm sure there might be some organizations, but that may be a potential pitfall for you. But best of luck with that.
Yes, and if anybody has any advice or sort of input on that, just share it in the chat as well. It'd be interesting to see how other people's experiences have been with that. Okay, James, I'm going to move over to you. I'm just conscious that you are going to be posting links as well, but I'm just going to ask you this question about LinkedIn.
Not a problem.
Yep, and how to work with it, with LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's a great question, because there's so many different ways that you can use LinkedIn. It's almost got too many different functionalities. But again, as Joel said, we've got plenty of content on this. So this ranges from LinkedIn 101, so just where to start, to how charities and professionals can make LinkedIn work for them, and then also onto using LinkedIn Premium. So again, I'll post all these in the chat shortly. Really great content. I'd recommend reading through and options for using the free option or the more business orientated premium versions. And as we mentioned earlier, LinkedIn Learning is really such a good tool if your charity or nonprofit can access that. So definitely check that out too.
Great, thank you. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, James. And we've got the links in the chat as well. Okay, we've got one more pre-submitted question, and then we're going to have a look at your chat questions. So it's about impact gathering. Joel, do you design, or do we design bespoke solutions for small charities, or advise on how, advise on the PEG solutions?
The PEG solution, sure. So I can really define what we can provide in terms of Charity Digital. So we primarily resell software, so we don't design software at all specifically for charities. Most of the software that we have available to purchase from ourselves, or who we sometimes onboard, we try and keep it very broad as possible, so that as many different charity types can take advantage of it as they can, rather than sometimes we might come across those, say, maybe in an educational sector or a healthcare sector, where they need a specific sort of software that only works within their industry. We don't have too much like that. So our software is rather vast, should we say, so it can be used by lots of people as well. As we've been talking about to the cows come home today as well, we have lots of access to all the content that we've mentioned on Charity Digital, which is primarily geared towards sort of self-learning. We're very into that. We want to, our mission is to educate the charity sector and help you learn yourself. A pattern that we see, and certainly I see in the role that I do, is that when organizations do come across the money, they're quite happy to go, I'm not too bothered about the why, I just want it done. So they have funds where they can just pay someone to go and get it done for them, which is why we try and provide lots of content for those who don't have those type of funds available, for you to have the ability to self-learn instead. But outside of that, outside of reselling software and providing content, we do provide a managed service for 365 for micro and small organizations. So those with sort of 10 staff or less, where we could help you migrate to 365 and also look after your licenses with any sort of, you have any queries, like you get a support call once a month as well, if need be as well. So a link's going up on there in a moment as well. So that's something else that we provide as well. So we won't be able to design a bespoke solution for your organization, but we can certainly contribute to, once you know what you're looking for, I'm sure that we will have a few variations of software available to be used by your charity.
Great. Thank you, Joel. Thank you so much for that answer. Okay, let's move over to the questions that were in our chat. And Vic, I'm going to move over to your question. Would you say that using new AI features of MS 365 as a Microsoft 365 is a safe and secure thing to do? Any AI tools you are looking to provide discount or provide assurances for? Really good question, Vic. Thank you for that. Joel, would you like to take a stab at this?
Oh, well, the first thing I would suggest, and I'll just move it here. I usually put this at the end, but make sure you attend our webinar in terms of tomorrow regarding AI. It's a popular topic at the moment. In terms of safety-wise within the world of Microsoft, I mean, you might want to review the licensing types that you're using from a security point of, whether you've got Windows Defender or that side in place. In terms of if AI overall is safe, I guess we're still exploring that, and maybe best not to watch too many science fiction movies on that side of things as well. I'm probably not the best one to speak about AI. I'm still learning myself, if I'm honest, but by all means take advantage of our other AI content that's available quite heavily on our website right now. It's been a hot topic for at least over a year, maybe longer, but we've always got AI content coming out all the time, it seems, at the moment. So take advantage of that for sure.
Yes, no, definitely. It seems to be exploding, doesn't it? There's so many offers out there now, and it's difficult to know where to go, I think, on this one. But thank you so much, Don. I think the webinar tomorrow will be very interesting, so try and sign up if you can. We have a question from Isabella, and it is, any advice, links, webinars about how to bring your team along with the digital changes? For example, changing our CRM in a team with lower confidence in their digital skills. James, can I move over to you to this one?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, I'll take a stab at that. Just building on something Joel mentioned earlier. So one thing we really recommend in-house is just to create a knowledge base with clear guides for every process that you can think of. Something that really revolutionized our processes at Charity Digital is Guru, which Joel mentioned earlier. So you can create a database of your knowledge. So we've got one for any process that you can think of, whether it's a major process or if it's just the smallest thing. It's just so useful when you have to do something after 6 months and you're just thinking, wait, how do I do that? You open it up, you've got your bullet points, your screenshots, everything you could need. Is really good. It's, as Joel said, it's not something that we provide ourselves, but you can access charitable rates directly from Guru. So I will post that again in the chat. They're a really nice bunch over there at Guru. And our COO, who implemented this when she joined about 1.5 years ago, recently did a tech review for it. So I'll post that article in the chat as well. So I definitely recommend checking that out. And yeah, it's just something really useful for just reflecting. And if someone's not that confident and they need to, do something 5, 10, 15 times before they're used to it, they can just have their screen side by side with the process and just recall that whenever they need it. So I would definitely recommend that. Is there anything else, Liz or Joel, you think you could add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to bounce off your last comment. I can certainly relate to that. I won't go into details of what it is, but I was handed a task to do about 1 year ago. But it's one of those tasks which is really finicky, lots of clicking, multiple portals and browsers which are needed to do this. And I could only do it once a month as well, because of the certain time it needs to be done. So doing something not that regularly is, I've done things like that in the past. It's so hard to retain doing those tasks. I'm sure you've maybe all done that with maybe some sort of finance requirement. So working alongside Guru, where we've got all the steps in place for the good first few, maybe 4, 5, 6 months. I still use this to help me to this day, to help me ensure I get it right. I'm able to go through this tricky process correctly once a month, thanks to the help of Guru and having the data in bite-sized chunks and easily presentable to help me get through this handover, which I had from someone to carry on with this process.
Yes, no, I mean, I can't recommend it enough either. We started off with just in a small sort of ops team, and then it went org wide. So yeah, it's a really good platform to use. Okay, if anyone else has any more questions, please pop them in the chat, because we are now going to our last question from Sharon. Who says, I've found the Zoom license discount through Charity Digital via TechSoup. I understand that if we take out any more licenses over the year, then the discount will still apply. I'm wondering if it's on the account and will just discount when someone buys more licenses, or whether I have to provide a code again. We're about to do this. Also, what happens when the year is up? I don't want to cancel Zoom licenses and sign up again. Is there a renewal with discount feature? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, I can help out with that. So the discount code that we provide, once you've used it the first time on Zoom, so you get a link to go to Zoom and set up your account, and at the checkout point, there's just before you enter your credentials, you get your payment information. It will have a field for discount or coupon code, whichever the terminology is. You enter it there, and that discount code will remain on your Zoom account for the whole year. So whenever you go back to Zoom in the future and you want to add another host, because you're holding multiple meetings simultaneously, when next time you go to add a host, you'll see that the discount has been automatically added for you at checkout. By all means, if it isn't, let us know, but we haven't received any sort of negative feedback in that sense regarding that. So when it comes to the renewal of your Zoom subscription, make sure that you purchase the discount code from us again, to ensure that you can retain the discount with Zoom going forward. Because if you renew without purchasing the discount code from us, then you would renew at the full price rather than the 50% discount which we provide.
Great, thank you very much, Joel. We do actually have more questions, and yeah, I wasn't spotting those. So we've got one from Peter, who says, I would like to implement a content management system on our website written in ASP to help non-technical staff to change content. How can I find someone to help me do this?
So we had a query about this content management, so a CMS, a few while back. Did we get James? I think we did request for what we often do with some of the queries that come through. We ask if perhaps some content can be made about it, and we actually requested some content to be made about CMSs a little while back. Now, obviously, our content team do have their own calendar, so it's not something they can suddenly whip up within the space of a week or a few months. They do work quite in advance. So, James, did we ever get to writing the CMS one, or can we just add for that to?
I've just found one written about a week or two ago, which is the best CMS for charities in 2023. So I'll post that in the chat. Feel free to check that out. So yeah, that says about HubSpot, WordPress, Wix, which you can access discounted. Oh, my camera's frozen. Wix, which you can access discounted through the Charity Digital Exchange, and just several others there. So definitely check that out.
So we have so much content that even I missed that one. That's how quickly we pump these out.
Daily.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you, Joel. We've got a question from Hannah on a survey tool. Do you have any recommendations for survey tools? I think this would be really nice if people are using survey tools at the moment, and you can just stick it in the chat of what you would like to recommend. There are survey tools that do come incorporated with email marketing platforms. So again, I can say that Digital actually does provide quite a good survey tool. You may not want it though in your email marketing platform. So you may just want to go to the standard survey tools that are out there at the moment. We use Typeform, don't we, here in the organization. And another example, yes, thank you very much, James. That's it. And yes, so you will be receiving feedback, and that's actually the platform that we use to service the feedback for each session that we do. So if anyone else does have other recommendations as well, Vic, yep, they give a non-profit discount if you contact them. That's really good to know.
Excellent.
Yeah, I love it. It's so user-friendly. And I like that it tells you how long it takes. You know, if you're sent the survey, it says it'll take you 1.5 minutes, and it is generally accurate. It's not one of these ones that says it'll take 5 minutes and you're sitting there for 20 minutes.
Yes.
So yeah, I really like that one.
Obviously a famous one is sort of people use a Survey Monkey, just putting it out there. Do you think Survey Monkey would work with MailChimp? Would they integrate?
I think they actually do integrate, but I'm not sure how
I'd
great the integration is.
We're being a chimp and a monkey, but you know.
Yeah.
One other one as well. So if you did pre-submit any questions for this, you will have seen that we used Google Forms. That is generally, I think, text-based. So all of these, they have different functionalities depending on what you want. I think SurveyMonkey, you can upload images. Not sure if you can for Typeform, Vic. You may be a bit more of an expert than me in that. I just use the basic text format. But yeah, it all depends on what functionality you're after, really. But there's some good, there's some good software out there, no matter what your budget is.
So if you like the look of Typeform, obviously you can give us some feedback, and we'll post it up in a few moments, because you'll see what it looks like when we use Typeform. As obviously we're always asking for feedback, and you'll get some of that shortly at the end of the call, so you can then take a look at what it looks like aesthetically as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Oh, there we go.
Already put a little shameless.
Can't see we're sharing the screen.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. We have another question here from Charlie, who is asking, I'm looking for templates, examples of good electronic devices policies. Do you have any you could recommend for this? I haven't got any off the top of my head, but we can do some research. And by the time, hopefully, James and Joel, by the time we send out the answers to our Q&A session, we will have something chewable that we can include in the article. What do you think, James?
Yeah, we do our best to do our research beforehand, but sometimes, we don't know everything for these sessions. So we will definitely do our best to do our research, and we'll be sending this out in the coming days, aiming to get the questions and answers fully researched out by Friday, and then the recording early next week. So yeah, we'll definitely do our research before we send this out to you.
Okay, great, thank you. And the final one, do you have any recommendations for any networks, groups, conferences where I can connect with others working with IT data tech in charities, particularly to learn from others in a non-expert way covering IT responsibilities for a small charity? This is a really good one, isn't it? Because we all need to do a lot more networking probably than what we're doing.
I'm sure.
To learn from others.
I'm sure we recently had an email with events coming up in the sector. I'll try and dig that out and I'll include the details. But that had maybe 6 or 7 events. We've
also got our event as well, or our events, you say as well. So once a year, so we have a couple of events, don't we? So is it October, November, we'll have Digital Fundraising Day.
Yes.
And then we actually have our in-person event, so a physical conference. It takes place usually sort of Q4, so was it February, March, around that time?
Around that time, yeah. I think
in London, historically it's been in London where people network. We have lots of presentations at the Be More Digital conference. There we go. That hashtag Be More Digital. That's what the conference is. So that's a good opportunity to network as well, which is one of our own. But as James said, we'll be looking for some of the list of other useful events that could be good for you as well.
Great, thank you. Does anyone else have another question before we wrap up? You can stick it in the chat. No? Okay, well, we're coming up to the hour and it's been really, really great having you all on board. Thank you so much for attending. We hope that we have helped you as much as we can. And obviously we have talked about Typeform and we would just love you to give us your feedback so we can continue to improve these sessions, and we do have them every fortnight. So you're welcome to join again, or to recommend us to anyone else as well. So please take a minute and share your opinions. And also, yes, don't forget that you can have a consultation with Joel, our very own Joel there. And that's just a reminder on this slide that tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we have our webinar on the future of non-profit marketing preparing for AI. Really good topic. So thank you so much for attending. And we hope to see you all very soon. And thank you, James and Joel, for all of your comments and your advice and your tips. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for attending. It's been a really good session. And yeah, please give us your feedback, good or bad. We love to hear it. It really helps. And hopefully see you on the next one.
Yes.
Yeah, lovely to see you all.
You.
Nice to see you all, and hopefully see you again.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye now.
Bye.